You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
Oh, yeah. Well, you've been warned, my friends. It's Truth on Tap. It's the big show, because every damn show's the big show, don't you know? Yes, it is.
Some say that karma is a bitch.
Oh, karma better be a bitch.
Some say that karma is a bitch.
His wife better be a bitch, too. That's all I got to say. It's the big show. This is my friend that stayed at a haunted hotel. If she really wanted to be scared, she'd watch what's happening to America's civil liberties today. Yeah, all she had to do was see a ghost. You're listening to the big show. It's Truth on Tap. Your host, Kevin Kierstead, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Saturday night, September 21st, 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, something has happened in this country that is a call to arms. And I mean that in any way you want to take it. In any way you want to take it, okay? I've already got people in the chat room. There's David. Here's the problem. A man in Towson, Maryland goes to a school board meeting, stands up to speak his mind. Granted, he's not within the system that they wanted. They wanted everybody to write down their questions on little cards, and we're going to sidestep right there. Why do they want everybody to write down their questions on little cards? So they can ignore the tough ones. That's why you get that kind of forum. Okay? Well, he had a tough one, and he knew it wouldn't be read. So he just stood up and asked it. Did not like the idea of the current testing standards that students are being put through, believes it's dumbing down our children. The man spoke his view and was arrested and now may face up to 15 years in prison. How does that sound to you? In America. This is in America. I'm not talking about down outside some gulag in Russia. I'm not talking about in the outskirts of Karbala. We're talking about Maryland, Towson, Maryland. Think about what's been happening lately, okay? People getting arrested, manhandled, the homeless man that was killed by police. I don't remember where that was. It might have been in Florida. They actually passed a law after that giving people the permission to defend themselves from police. It's to that level now. Don't tase me, bro. You remember Don't Tase Me, Bro. Was it really necessary for them to tase him? Was that video, that viral video in 2007, permission to police to do whatever they felt like doing once somebody had misbehaved? All coming from someone wishing to speak. This is the price now in America. Well, we're lucky because we've got two things on our side. We have the United States Constitution on our side, and the Bill of Rights. We have the amendments to that Constitution, and we have the fact that federal law, 99% of the time, supersedes state law. And federal law says that people can peaceably organize and speak without being arrested. Yet that didn't apply here. Then the cop who did the arrest charged the guy with assault because the guy, pushed him or something? Well, that didn't happen. The cop didn't realize he was being filmed, so he felt free to lie. Yeah, I was assaulted. He wasn't assaulted. The cop should be thrown in jail, and it ought to be a lesson to every other law enforcement officer out there. If you're going to bust us, you better have a goddamn good reason. I'm telling you, anybody who listens to this broadcast, and I'm getting my listenership is jumping high right now, so I hope this goes viral, because this is my most important show to date. Forget all the ones I've done in the past. We have lost our ability to be free. It is the primary threat to freedom in this country, and it is coming from those authorities who enforce law. Don't stand for it anymore. Always arm yourself. Always have a witness present. And do what you have to do to keep from getting badgered. Do whatever you have to do to keep from getting bludgeoned. And mistreated by these officers who think they have full run of whatever power they want to use. This looks no different than it looked in 1939 in Germany. Look at the tapes. They're on YouTube. Go ahead and pull up 1939 Poland. Watch how the Nazis are treating the Polish. That's exactly what you're seeing today. I could show you side-by-side footage of identical treatment. Oh, I just said something. You're going to jail. But I just said, but you're going to jail. Never to be heard from again. That's where we're headed. Sure is. I got David in here, and he's echoing my sentiment. He's calling the cop, I believe the cop, a biatch, and he's right. And he says, bingo, he's with me. I like some more of you to get with me. You can call in as well. Let's hope that's working here tonight. I have, the phone number is 910 no lying. But in order for me to make it work, I just need to open up one thing real quickly here. And then I got to open up a voicemail box from Google Talk. It'll just take a sec. There we go. I might have already missed one. Looks like somebody already tried to call in. Let me take a little sidestep here, folks. I had a technical problem tonight. I used Sam Broadcaster to do my shows, and it went to kaput tonight. Okay, so this has been a problem. I've been trying to fix it. Well, now I went ahead and went with the raw input for the show to get it going because I didn't want to miss this important moment. And now all of the sites that I had up to cite laws and stuff from, they're gone because I had to go to a different browser. So everything got kicked in the balls from the get-go tonight, but we're not stopping. It's almost like they knew I was going to do this show, and I've never had a problem connecting, and bam, can't connect. So I went in any way I had because this show is going on. I hope we hear from 1 million people during this show. This needs to become a movement. You know what I went and did? I'm taking it seriously. I went and started a fake page, which I'm known to do. Half of them don't even work. I'm coming to answer that call. Let's hope I get to it in time. Answer. Let's see. Who do we have online here? Hello, you're on Truth on Tap. Who's on Truth on Tap with me here? 384-6993.
Dave.
Hey, Dave, what's going on, brother?
Hey.
Hey, well, I need somebody to test the audio and make sure your voice is coming through, man. Can you do that? Like, turn the show on just to make sure?
The show's on.
Okay, do you hear your voice coming through the speakers or just mine?
Yeah, I got the voice on the computer.
Good. Okay. Well, be careful with the show loud now because what it'll do is it'll create a feedback loop just like a real radio station, and we won't be able to hear ourselves think.
Yeah, it's got the delay kind of messing with my head here.
Yeah. So once you've learned that you can hear yourself and you can hear me, you can turn it back down and then just listen to the show, through the call.
Yeah.
So tell me, man, what are you thinking about this? I want to hear all your thoughts. You got the mic for the next 10 minutes. Fire away.
Well, my biggest issue is the silent forum. Mm-hmm. What the heck kind of forum is silent? Mm-hmm. The forum is you're supposed to be able to speak your mind, and they're wanting them to write it down. Like you said, it's so they can ignore it.
That's right.
Oh, good question. We'll get to that. No, they won't. They'll throw it in the trash can and do what they want to do later.
That's right.
Yeah, and say, oh, we addressed it. No, they didn't.
I think it's a secretive way for them to do, like you just said, to ask the questions they only want to. But it's also what they'll say if somebody comes and inquires and says, hey, you can't do that, have an open forum. They'll say, well, people could get mad at each other and could create a riot. So we're trying to avoid that. There's another cover story that they could use to try to sell that silent forum format. When really all they want is to be able to throw the hard questions away.
Yeah, exactly.
This is insane, David. Man, we can't let this happen. We cannot let people get arrested for speaking in this country.
Right.
It can't be allowed.
It's a freedom of speech.
Yeah.
I mean, not to go throwing lyrics around, but I mean, Ice-T, the rapper. Mm-hmm. He one of his songs, the lyrics, freedom of speech. That's some motherfucking bullshit. Say the wrong thing, they'll lock your ass up quick.
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Yeah,
I don't have that. I don't have that one memorized, but he sure as hell made a good point.
Yeah, well, it was on his Body Count album. He replaced one of the songs that was very controversial with that one, as if it was any less controversial.
Oh, okay. Well, he was one of those rappers that had deeper meaning. Some of them were just on the surface, like Let's Dance. Others were like talking stories with it, like De La Soul and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, he was very political, and they did their best to shut him up, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they will, too. Now, that's getting better as far as from a Hollywood perspective, in my opinion. You might disagree with me on this one, but I'm seeing it get worse from just speaking. I hope to God Sidney Bagley Kelly comes on here. She's a teacher. I just asked her about it today, about these new teaching standards. Now, you have kids in school right now, and you're more concerned about this than I am, because we're not really involved in it. We're not involved in fighting the teaching standards. Maybe we should be, but I know you guys are, you and Kim are like head to head with this. Is this the right thing?
We have gone rounds with the school board especially over our autistic child.
Mm-hmm.
Special needs children get swept under the rug so easily. And, if the parents don't stand up,
mm-hmm.
If you don't stand up for your kids, they're just going to get pushed aside. And what do we have? A dumb more America.
That's right. You got it, brother. And another thing, I wanted to tell you something technical real quick before I forget, and this is for anybody else that's going to call in. You might get some, it's an internet radio station, so you'll occasionally get a little cracking or popping, and you might get a little bit of a delay. It can be annoying, but if you ever watch, the major news networks and they're talking to somebody across the globe, it'll do the same thing. There'll be a 2-second delay. So it's just something you get used to, so don't let it drive you too crazy. But yeah,
fine.
So I know you're fighting
on the computer, and I'm
but you're fighting that battle on the front lines,
Yeah, we've had to. I've gone there for Ian's personal aid.
Mm-hmm.
How many times she dropped the ball? The second aid that they gave him after they fired the one that was great for her,
mm-hmm.
because she's not allowed to have communication with the child's parents. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I'm here. Now imagine if you went in to talk to her and you said, I've got something to say about my son and this aide and their relationship, and she said, hold on a second, and an officer came in and arrested you. Because that's what happened.
Well,
that's what happened in Maryland.
Say the assault charge would have been real.
And I believe that shit too, to be honest with you.
I would have earned that one.
Yeah. If he had told me, well, I'm going to charge you with assault because you just touched my shoulder, I would have said, well, shit, let me go ahead and earn this one too.
Yeah.
That's what's happening, man. That's what's happening. This is insane. This is totally unacceptable. We got to do something about this.
Right.
I was worried all the way back to Tase Me, Bro. You remember Tase Me, Bro?
Yeah, that was all over the radio for a while.
Yeah. Now the kid
made songs about it.
Yeah, and now he was acting like a clown. I agree with that, and he was resisting a little bit. They should have just walked him out, and he should have walked out. But the fact that they had him down on the ground and still insisted on tasing him, it just tells me we're going to punish you now for daring to stand up to us. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm smelling something here that wasn't here in 2004, wasn't here in 2006. Is it coming from the police state that the military-industrial complex has built up since 9/11? Is that what it is? It's like we've given up a lot of our privacy for this increased security. Well, the increased security wave that we've built may be coming down on us now, crashing down on us. As this totalitarian kind of a regime of security, police really believing they have a free pass to do whatever they want to do. How can
I remember as early as the 80s seeing a bumper sticker that said, if the police protect us from the bad guys, who protects us from the police?
That's a good point. Are you going to trust somebody like Internal Affairs? I'm not.
No.
Internal Affairs' job is to make the city and the police department look good.
Themselves.
Yeah, that's that's effective. Now they might find somebody who's selling drugs under the table. But when it comes to PR, Internal Affairs is doing PR work for their department. They're gonna make it look good.
Yeah, whatever it takes to. We're not doing anything wrong. We're the authorities. Yeah.
What if we did form an organization to watch over the police? Would that be too much more bureaucracy, or do you think it might be a necessary thing? Or should we try to get that to come up in the private sector, police monitoring forces? Wouldn't that be something? I mean, it sounds good on the surface.
Yeah, man, it sounds good on paper, but how do you actually implement something like that? I really don't. Then that institution gains a little more power than someone else likes. Then who's going to watch them? And it's a snowball.
That's a good point. But we could set up
going downhill.
We could set up like a checks and balances triangle, just like the three branches of our government, so that it would at least end in a draw at a worst case scenario, instead of having to constantly start a new organization to watch the last organization. You know what I'm saying? So you have the executive, the judicial, and the what's the third branch? My brain's slipping me right now.
Was it executive, judicial? Oh shoot!
Legislative? Is it legislative?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it is legislative. So you've got those three, and one will have power over it's rock paper scissors. So we could set something like that up, maybe. But once again, you're looking at funding. Private's not going to come up to fund it. Who's going to fund it? So it's got to come from the government. Taxpayers don't want to spend more money. So we have nobody to watch.
Well, you also got to look at the efficiency of those three branches on a national government level.
Yeah, good point.
The triangle's going to become a trapezoid.
Yeah, good point. It may already be a trapezoid. But we've got to do something. We can't. The police are running free now. I've never seen anything like this. They may have abused their power to some extent like this back around Prohibition. It seemed to me like when they were going after the moonshine runners and stuff, they were really getting wacky. Yeah. I mean, they would open fire on people with moonshine. That was kind of crazy, but I haven't seen anything like it.
A question about the police officer in question in the video. He was wearing a white security shirt. His badge was under his shirt. So I used to have a black shirt with white security because I used to sit in a guard shack at a campground and wave at the campers and make sure they had tags in their windshield so they could come in and off the property. Yeah. Anybody can buy a T-shirt with security. So he appears to be just a bouncer.
Yeah, that's what he looked like.
Nobody knew he was a cop. So what happens if I'm in a convenience store and I bump into somebody, he mouths off at me, pushes me, I push him back, he pulls a badge out, and I've just assaulted an officer.
Yeah.
What the hell's that?
Well, you would beat that.
I know a lot of off-duty cops. A lot of off-duty cops for side money will work security for events, and that is what appears is happening there. Yeah. Well, if nobody knew he was a cop, if you assault somebody that you don't know is an officer, how the hell can you be charged with assaulting an officer?
That's right.
If he doesn't identify himself.
See, the problem is that even goes to court. I get a feeling that 99% of a case like that will get thrown out, but there's that 1%, and plus it should never make it to court because now you've been arrested. Now you got an arrest record. Not to mention all the fines and the trouble that it causes you. Even though you're going to beat it in court, it should have never got to that point because the officers should be penalized for arresting someone without good probable cause, instead of just having their court cases thrown out.
Right.
Because they know they can cause you a shitload of headaches just by arresting you, even if they know you're going to beat it in court.
Yeah, and what term is some sort? I can't think of the term now, but you're basically being, just by being charged, you're being punished.
Yeah.
Even if you beat it, you still, quote unquote, learned your lesson. Never going to do that again because you don't want to go through that headache again.
That's right.
Unless you have the funding and the spare time, and well, let's face it, who the hell has that now?
Yeah, good point. I'm reading over the article now. This article came out of The Blaze, and they're talking, manhandled, arrested while speaking out against Common Core at public forum. Common Core is the name of the the school agenda, I guess you could say, of education. And I'm
Curriculum.
not, yeah, the curriculum. And I'm not a guy who knows all about this Common Core, but I can understand that a lot of people are against it right now because they think it's basically turning their students into factory brains, and a lot of teachers are against it. And just because he stood up to say something, he goes to jail and maybe spending 10 or 15 years in there. I didn't see any evidence of assault.
No, me either.
You know,
He pulled his arm back when somebody grabbed at his arm. That's a reflex.
that's right.
You know, me and you were friends, and you reach out and grab my arm without, me expecting it. I'm going to yank my arm back. Dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's a
You
reflex.
know, and I go back to, he didn't know he was a cop.
Yeah, that's right. Well, look, it says security. I'm looking at the back of his shirt right now. It says security. So he's not. Yes, he was a cop, and just like you said, a lot of cops will do off-duty security events, but he's not supposed to be representing himself as a police officer there. If he is, he's supposed to be in uniform. He's off-duty.
Right.
So now he's flashing the authority, like, oh, now I need to get serious with you. You know? It's just it just pisses me off. They pull the badge when they need to and hide it when they don't. You know?
Exactly.
When they're off duty.
Exactly. He had his badge on a chain around his neck. Why was it under his shirt?
Yeah, exactly.
He was intentionally hiding the fact that he was a police officer.
Yeah. And I think his reaction, even though it may have been reflex, it also may have been a good reaction. If I've got a bouncer coming up to me and all I'm doing is talking out of order, I'm going to be like, what are you putting your hands on me for? You know? It'd be different if I were running around smacking people in the head, but I'm talking here. So
yeah.
Is this the new America? As population rises, if you speak out of order, the thought police, the speech police come and get you? Doesn't sound like my America, bro.
No, it doesn't.
We got to do something, man. We got to do something about this. We got to get people on the move over something like this. I don't know what to do. Anybody else out there that's thinking I've got the solution for this, come on into the chat room. Dave's already in that room. You can also call in. Now, I haven't taken more than one call at a time, but I'll try to get everybody in on a conference call. If you call in to the Google number, that's 910-NO-LYING. And later on, we'll play some bad Ace music just to keep our sanity. But right now, we need to keep talking about this and figure out what in the world's going on. I started a page for no particular reason other than I didn't see that anybody else had started one. The man's name I'm pulling up here was Robert Small. Robert Small, a concerned father, was forcefully removed from the meeting by a police officer after he interrupted Baltimore County School Superintendent Dallas Dance during the question and answer portion of the forum. Yep. Sounds like a terrible crime, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, so what's going to happen now is, if we're lucky, they'll stop doing this stupid write your question down thing so we can answer the ones we want and take it back to an open forum. You might have to beef up security a little bit because people will get unrest, and you know that can break out into fistfights if people are that against each other at a public forum. Yeah. But that's a whole nother story. I mean, that does not infringe upon the freedom of speech there. That's just assault. You know, you can't do that. You can't fight. You know, or someone can charge you with assault, and that's okay. That's a decent law. But you should be able to say anything you want in a forum like that. You know? It just feels like Nazi Germany, man.
Well, that may be a bit extreme, but I understand the sentiment there. I mean, it is. It's not right. It's, you know, founding fathers are rolling right now.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I first saw the story, man. Yeah, Kim posted this story on my page, and I'm like, oh, no, I didn't want to see this tonight. I'm sitting here working with a sore throat. I didn't want to do a show. I can't stand it, man. I got to do a show. So I pulled up 500,000 web pages here. I went to the actual article that was written by the Baltimore Sun, and they went into some more detail about it. And this is something they say about the forum. The format of the forum did not allow the public to stand and ask a question. Instead, those who wanted questions answered had to write them on a piece of paper, as we said. Dance read the questions and had members of a panel, which included State School Superintendent Lillian Lowry, answer them. Now, the crowd in there, if you remember, they were calling for the people to just answer his damn question, let him talk. Then they were calling for the police officer to leave him alone. And it didn't matter, you know?
Well, one thing I kind of, when Mr. Small kind of called out the crowd, you're sitting there like cattle. You know, he basically called for help. Hey, y'all, stand up for me. And you know, there was a smattering of voices, a little murmur, and then that was about it.
Yeah,
that's kind of disappointing too.
Yeah.
You know, you got a public group. You got a couple of people that are getting a little vocal. That one lady, she kind of got in the cop's face about it too.
Yes, she did.
But I think that room should have just erupted, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. You know, that cop should have said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and leave the room because, I'm one badge, but there's about 60 angry parents in here. Y'all have at it. You know,
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I think they stayed a little calmer than I think they should have, to be honest with you.
I agree. And I looked up the Maryland assault laws because I want to see what this cop is going to be trying to push. And this is from a criminal defense lawyer. Now, you can't ever trust them, but he is actually citing the law, so I believe what he's written here. He says, a charge of assault is very serious, blah, blah, blah. What is assault under Maryland law? And I'm just going to read you the first paragraph because this covers it. Assault is the attempted touching of another person without that person's consent and includes the act of placing someone in fear of unintentional touching. Battery is the unlawful and offensive touching of another person without that person's consent. Therefore, who touched who first? He hadn't broken a law.
Looks to me like the officer assaulted the parent.
That's exactly what happened. And the parent was defending himself because that officer put his hands on that man, and that man had not only not broken a law, but he had no reasonable cause to detain him. None. He wasn't a danger to the public at all. He wasn't breaking a law.
No, he was being very calm and very respectful with the way he was asking. They just didn't like what he was asking and wanted him removed.
Yeah, and he was breaking the rule of the forum, but breaking rules is not supposed to get people arrested. Breaking laws is, you know.
Yeah, rules and laws. That's an issue that a lot of folks treat rules as laws and laws as rules, and there is a difference.
That's right, and they're trying to pin another thing on him, which is a $2,500 fine and possibly another 5 years in prison for interrupting a school event. And I said, wait a minute now. That may be a law. It's a stupid law, I think, but that may be a law. But he wasn't interrupting a school event. This was nowhere near a school. It was at a school board meeting. School events specifically talk about sports games and PTA meetings at the school and things of that nature. This was a public forum school board meeting at a separate office building. So I don't consider that a school event.
It wasn't at the school because it looked like it was in a gymnasium.
Yeah, they said it here. They said where it was here in the article. I'll glance over this.
Okay, and I watched the video and I confess that I did kind of just skim the article.
Yeah. I'm not seeing it here. I know I read it earlier because I read 2 articles on it, and they were at the school board office of some sort. Second degree. I'm not seeing it in that one. It must be in the other article. Here we go. Small stood before school superintendent. Here we go. No, it says Thursday in Towson. Was pulled out of the meeting, arrested. No, it doesn't say here. I know I read it somewhere. It's somewhere down in this article, but I mean, I guess it's possible. I need to look over that again in case it was at school. But even if it was, is that really interrupting a school event? He's actually partaking in it just outside of the rules. It'd be different if somebody's streaking through.
It was. Yeah, Kim just looked at it. It was in the school.
It was in the school? Okay. I read somewhere that.
Yeah, escorted him into the hall.
Mm-hmm.
Handcuffed him and had him sit on the curb in front of the school.
Okay.
So it was at the school.
Okay. Well, that had to be a school event then, so they can pin that on him. But that's the least of his worries, because if he gets hit with that assault charge, he won't even be caring about the interrupting a school event charge.
Yeah. I mean,
I read
assaulting an officer.
I read
somewhere. Pulling your arm back.
Yeah, exactly. And that officer grabbed him rather quickly. Did you hear the crowd gasp? Because they couldn't believe the officer was already putting his hands on the guy. It'd be different if he was whacked out and crazy. The crowd would probably be like, "Damn, do take him out." I'm not feeling too safe right now. But everybody's going, "Okay, he's speaking out of turn, but he's a normal guy." And then they see this officer put his hands on the guy, and they all gasp. I'm going to play the video. And I hope I'm not breaking copyright laws here, but I'm going to play the video. Actually, does Kim have the video up on the computer there?
Yeah, she does.
Why don't y'all play the video and play the audio over your phone so everybody can hear it?
Okay, restart it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting Kim to restart it.
The only reason I asked that is because my speakers don't work at all. Only my headphones do, so I can't put my mic next to my headphone because it's a headset.
Okay. Is it going to create a feedback on our computer?
I don't think so. As long as the show's turned down on your computer.
Okay, she's killed your audio feed.
Good.
So,
okay.
Right, what's the speaker on your computer, honey, so I can put them? All right. Okay, going to the speaker now.
Okay, everybody get ready. Here's what happened. Unacceptable, man.
Did it come through okay?
Yeah, it was a little bit high trouble, but unacceptable. And anybody who hasn't seen this, please go do a Google search. It's the first news item. It pisses me off every time I see it or hear it. It pisses me off even more. And did you see the way he shoved him through the door, like he was trying to break the door down?
Kim just mentioned that. I missed that at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He puts his hands in his chest and just pushes him back through the doors.
Yeah.
That are shut. Opens the doors with the man's back.
That's exactly what he did. I hope that man files a lawsuit. If his back is hurt or he messed up his hips or knee or anything in that entered, what a stupid thing to arrest somebody for. My God, what's wrong with people, man?
And I still go back to I understand cops have the right to arrest someone when they're off duty because a cop is never really truly off duty.
That's true.
If duty calls, they spring to action.
Mm-hmm.
That's what good cops are supposed to do.
Yeah.
But like I said, when you're at an event as just security, just private security, you're not there as a cop. You're there as a bouncer.
That's right.
And
yeah.
There's a right way and a wrong way to remove somebody from a place, and that cop just went about it all wrong. And I don't know if you know, when he first pulls his badge out from under his shirt,
mm-hmm.
if you want to go back to the video and look at it again, one thing I noticed is that his hand language, he poses his hand, looked like a gangster rapper flashing bling.
Yeah, you're right.
He was very cocky about it.
If I remember, he flashed it twice like that.
When he first brought it out, the second time he kind of held it, in a closed fist. But the first time he brought it out, it looked like Kanye West, flashing his $sign necklace.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Cocky. The only word I can come up with is cocky.
Yep.
Like, hey, motherfucker, I'm a cop.
Yeah. Is Kim typing under your name there in the chat? I think I'm getting...
Yes, she is.
Okay, I'm sorry, Kim.
Yeah.
I haven't been paying attention to the text chat. So, because normally I air people's views on there. I'm just reading over some of the stuff she said. Shoved him backwards through the doors. Yeah, that was just uncool to the utmost. Let me drag up here and see. It's so hard to drag this chat, so anyway, I'll just look at the last 8 statements or so. Nobody had his back is right. Now, but let's give the crowd a break. Okay, 2 things about this. One, think about 9/11, for example. Think about the first 3 planes. People never seen this before. They don't know what to do. They're, okay, we'll sit in our seat. We don't know what's going on here. But what happened with Flight 93?
Deer in the headlights.
Yeah. Deer in the headlights, but Flight 93 was not going to be deer in the headlights. They were going to do something, okay? So now we've seen what the common thing is now. You watch the next school board meeting where something like this happens. You may just see a pile of people jumping on a cop because they were more vocal tonight than I've seen them in quite a while about saying, hey, leave them alone. I've seen instance in the past where they didn't even do that. Maybe one person would gasp. Everybody else would just be quiet, So yeah. I think there's a potential, David, is what I'm saying, is for them to jump up in a mob rule and say, we're not going to attack you, officer, but you're going to leave that man alone. He didn't break a law. Get the hell out of here.
Well, we can only hope.
We need it. That's what we need. Because if we don't fight for that, who's going to? Are they just going to keep on going with this, Nazi blitzkrieg mentality of we do what we want, we are the power, and no one keeps us in check? That scares the shit out of me, man. And I know there are good cops out there. There are plenty of good cops out there that are watching this video right now and saying, "Why the hell did he do that?" They would know better.
Yeah.
But then
my father was really good friends with the majority of the Gloucester Sheriff's Department back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I can say from firsthand experience, there's a lot of good cops and there's a lot of bad cops.
Yeah.
And, there's one of Gloucester's more beloved sheriffs, I won't, mention names, But I remember shortly after he was elected for his first term as sheriff, I was 13, 14 years old, and we were going over the local elections in our civics class.
Yeah.
So I decided I was going to interview this newly elected sheriff, right at my dad's place of business. And I asked him, said on a little notepad, I'm going to be a journalist, 13 years old, and I asked him about the youth of the county, and what would he do to kind of gain and strengthen the respect from the youth. And knowing that he was being interviewed for a school report, said to me, I don't care if the youth respects the sheriff's department. They need to fear the sheriff's department.
Oh, man.
Well, fear breeds hatred. Hatred brings violence.
I'm with you there. Absolutely. And that fear comes with abuse of authority in so many cases, Even if it's at the corporate level, abuse of authority is, I'll fire your ass tomorrow if you make a wrong step. That's fear. You're living in fear the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what, I'm planning to make a statement and write a letter to what is now my side job of basically, hey, your payroll practices are ruining the company, and this is why. I'm kind of gonna, I'm gonna pound my chest. I was one of the best drivers here, and because you cut my pay, I left. And good drivers are leaving, and leaving you with this shit you have now.
Right.
But I've been afraid to do it when it was my main job for fear I would get reprimanded and fired.
Yeah, I can't blame you.
Now that I have another main job and that's just my side job, okay, big whoop, I lose, a Saturday weekend gig. I'm sure another competing company would love to have me, but
Yeah. And here's another thing. Would you consider taking a copy of that letter that you're going to send to the company and sending it to letters to the editor? Or would that be putting you in a very precarious position?
Letters to the editor of what, newspapers?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because that would grow public awareness of it. But then the company might find themselves playing defense, and then they're going to be frowning on you for this, for your part-time gig there. But it might start a movement.
If it gets me fired from my part-time gig, big whoop. I just wasn't about to do it when it would have gotten me fired from my full-time gig.
Yeah. Well, we're at that age, You and me and Kim are good examples. Steve, we're at that age where we're about to take the baton from the leaders of this country. And I'm kind of curious because I don't know, man, to be honest with you, how do we make big changes where they need to be made? I mean, does it start with a letter to a congressperson? Do we have to get together and have meetings? I don't know how to do this stuff. I have no idea.
Well, kind of on the school and abuse of power angle, do you remember the movie The Breakfast Club?
Yes.
The scene where the principal and the janitor are having a beer in the storage closet. And the principal says, the thought that wakes me up at night is that these kids are going to take care of me when I get older. And the janitor looks at him with a smirk and says, I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I swear, I mean, so the baton may not be handed off; it may be dropped, and we have to pick it up. But either way, these guys that are running the country,
it may be pried out of unwilling fingers.
Good point, because people are living a lot longer. You look in the government now, in any position of power, people are holding on. Oh, they're clinging on to that power. They don't want to let go. They don't want to retire. So with the longer lifespans that we're naturally experiencing due to increases in health and available, medicines that help you live longer, they're talking about coming up with some kind of enzyme shots that will promote you to 4 times the average lifespan. If that happens, then someone in power could remain in power for 150 years in a given spot. That's going to mess everything up. Yeah, I mean, Then what do we do?
That's kind of scary. Well, on another level of just flat out overpopulation.
Yeah, that's a huge deal, and it'll be much worse with that.
The birth rate already outnumbers the death rate. That's why the population is steadily growing. Oh, wow.
In 1990, I believe it was 5 billion. It was 4.5 or 5 billion in the world. By 2040, they're expecting 11 billion. 11 billion people. That's double. 11 billion people is supposed to be the maximum amount that Earth can support with her current food technologies. So what we really need to be thinking about anyway, even if it wasn't a population problem, I say is we need to get the hell off this planet. We need to start putting our eggs in different baskets, set up on the moon, set up on Mars. Easier said than done. But I mean, they're already planning the missions for it. I realize it's not easy. I sure wouldn't want to be the one leaving my blue and green planet. I love it too much here. But we got to do it. We got to start spreading our eggs out, and so that one asteroid can't take our entire species out, We got to do that. I know it sounds crazy, but we have to. We have to start spreading out. It's the natural next step. We've taken all we can from the Earth. If we're going to keep going like locusts, which seems to be what we're doing, it's time to gain new territory. I mean, I don't see population control doing anything. Do you see any effects from that?
I'll ask the Chinese.
Yeah. They have a 2-kid minimum, right? We just have a 2-drink minimum. They have a 2-kid minimum. Or 2-kid maximum.
Well, a 2-kid maximum, I think.
Yeah.
And they have, because a son is valued. I mean, there are cases of people hiding pregnancies in case it's a girl and then killing the baby girl because they're wanting a boy.
Yeah, exactly. They do that a lot.
I think Bruce Lee was actually smuggled to America.
Was he? I didn't know that.
I watched a movie called Dragon, and it was they gave him a girl's name in Hong Kong. I don't know. It's kind of getting off subject, but population control is just.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, you're touching back on a basic human freedom to go forth and prosper and populate the planet.
That's not going to be an easy sell. Not in this country, anyway. I mean, the 14th Amendment is already standing there protecting you, saying, hey, go screw all you want. So if we start putting something in place, there's going to be that, those hardcore constitutionalists coming forward saying, no way, no deal, no how. And what are we going to do? I just don't know, man. I don't like what I'm seeing with this. This is leading to a scary place, Dave. It's leading to a place where the law has absolute authority. And like you said, a person can be punished by just being arrested. And I'll tell you, I'll give you an example of this. And I'm not afraid to tell people. I'm going to take you back with me now. Year's about 1997. I get pulled over for running a stop sign. They call it a California roll. I came to a rolling stop. 2 officers. Yeah. They give me the DUI sobriety test. Said he's okay, but you go on home, because I told them I didn't say 1 or 2 beers. I told them what I drank. I said we've been at that bar from 8 o'clock to 1 a.m. and I drank 5 beers. So they probably appreciated my honesty right up front. But a human of my size can digest and basically use up 1 beer an hour without going over the BAC. So he said, all right, well, I'm going to give you the field test anyway. Gave me the field test, said you passed, you're good, but go home because that beer you did drink could still hit you later. I said, all right. Well, they took the guy that was with me to jail because he had an outstanding warrant, something from his divorce. So naturally, I go down to get him out of jail. They pulled me over for speeding, another cop car. I was going like 51 in a 45. He decides he smells alcohol on me, so he wants to do test. And he finds out by calling in that another officer has already cleared me for the field test, and he says, well, I want to do a breathalyzer. And at that point, something in my head said, I'm going to refuse the breathalyzer. I realize that's a 1-year automatic license suspension, but something tells me that if I've been pulled over by 2 cops and told 2 different things, this case will never fly in court. Something tells me that, even though I don't know it for sure. And luckily that was the case. I mean, Judge Harvell, whose son was killed by a drunken driver, threw this case out in under 10 seconds. We walked in, didn't have time to sit down. He said, "Do you have 2 officers tell the man different stories?" And my attorney said, "Yes, Your Honor, that was the case." And he said, "Case closed." Dink. I didn't even have time to sit down. I was like, "You're kidding me." You know. Then I had to go to court separately for refusal to take the breathalyzer. That's a separate case. And luckily I got out of that with, you know, they watch you for 1 year for good behavior. And if you're good, they clear your record. So I went through pure hell. I had to meet every week down at the police station before the case. Had to talk about alcohol and all that. I mean, so if that officer just wanted to harass me, yeah, he could have arrested me and said, "We're going to charge you with DUI." So
when police harassment is a very real issue too, because when me and Kim first started dating, there was a Gloucester sheriff's deputy who had a reputation for harassment.
Yeah.
And he was the arresting officer on, a very stupid thing that I did that I had on me back in my younger, dumber days. And, he saw me with her, knew that we were dating. Next thing I know, she's being followed home from my house all the way from Gloucester Point to the Matthews County line, a good 45-minute drive. She's followed from the beach. She's, getting pulled over because, it looked like your license plate was out of date.
Yeah. It looked like it. And they're not even supposed to follow you for more than 2 miles, right, before they either lay off or arrest or pull you over?
I'm not sure of the law on how far they're allowed to follow you, but I've heard, like I said earlier, my dad was good friends with a lot of cops, and I've heard cops say, you can make someone screw up just by following them because you make them nervous.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. And I think that's, in a way, isn't that entrapment? It sounds like
I guess it is, but, try and tell the judge, "Well, Your Honor, I crossed the line because the cop was following me and I was watching him." Well, why weren't you watching the road? If you were watching the road ahead of you, you shouldn't be worried about what the cop behind you is doing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the philosophy I've taken. If I'm driving and I notice the cop's behind me, I'm like, I ain't doing nothing wrong. He's just another car.
Yep, that's the way I do it too. I mean, I think you have to. But typical person's going to get nervous. They're going to look up in the rear view. They're going to go, "What the hell did I do? Was I speeding 10 minutes ago? Are my plates expired?" They're thinking all these thoughts racing through their head. And yeah, maybe they swerve. Maybe they end up following too close because they're not paying attention. They could get busted for that.
They're distracted by the menacing presence behind them.
Yeah, that's right. Kim has an interesting website in here I wanted to share with the listeners. A lot of people don't listen to this live. They listen to it after as a podcast. I'm going to try to read this website out to you. It's www.archives.nys, as in Sam, ed.gov/edpolicy, that's like education policy, /research, /RES_chronology 1970.shtml. Now, the good news is you can rewind this on a podcast. If you didn't get that website, go in there, and this is how she's explaining it. This is a chronological archive of how our education was usurped out from under our noses. Instead of making them rise to an education standard, to colleges could expand and open more community college and vocational schools. They dropped the standard across the board. Our generation was the first educated under this new Common Core. So for those of you that want to look up what this man's basic argument was about, where his philosophy was coming from, you can look that site up. Dave, I'm sick here. We've been on for about an hour. I'm going to throw on a couple of Bad Ace songs. You're very welcome to stay on, or you can call back in, or you can just do the text chat, whatever you like. It'll be about 8 minutes total when I throw the 2 songs on there. So
okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give my phone a break, and
okay.
I'll listen to Bad Ace.
Okay.
I guess I can listen to some Bad Ace.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah,
Sorry.
but please come back in at least on the text chat, man, because what you guys have to say is very interesting.
Well, it also, man, am I keeping anybody else from getting in?
No.
Is anybody else trying to call in?
No, because I would get a notification if anybody else called in, and I should, at that point, be able to put you both on at the same time so we'd have a three-way conversation. And I think I can do that with up to 4 other people, so we could have a regular round table, you know. So, yeah, no.
Okay.
You talking to me is not keeping other people from calling in.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Kim to log off, and I'm gonna log on and try and drum up some more folks. I've tagged a friend of mine that's a teacher, that's a special needs teacher, and was hoping she would get involved, but maybe she can't be bothered. I don't know.
Well, if she wants to, she can always, this is one thing we can do, she can listen to the podcast later and then go over to the Truth on Tap page, and we can open up a whole text discussion on this. You know, maybe there's a better site out there. I'm not trying to get everybody over to my site. Maybe there's a good forum out there talking about this incident that we need to get involved in. But whatever the case is, this is a turning point. This is going to be seen as a turning point in American history if the right thing happens. If we ignore it, it's not going to be seen as a turning point, in my view. But I hope something happens.
You're also facing typical American apathy here, too.
That's true. That's true. And that's become worse and worse, hasn't it? Is it just Facebook and YouTube? It's got us distracted. We're not caring about anything. There's something going on there. I don't know.
I'm pissed off. Ooh, funny cats.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly how it sounds. That's exactly how it sounds too, man. All right, folks. Well, I am going to go ahead and put on Kelly by Bad Ace, and then that will be followed up with Don't Leave Me Alone by Bad Ace. Now, that's a total of about 5 minutes worth of music, and then we're going to come back in here and get busy on this freedom of speech in America thing, because it's worth talking about. It's a big deal right now. Something's going on with the police. Something is going on with the authorities and what they're limiting and how extreme they're limiting it. We're going to talk about it, and we'll get more into the school systems and what they're doing wrong. So you're listening to Truth on Tap, and now you're listening to Bad Ace. You're still on the air, Dave.
Oh, okay. Well, there's another song I wanted you to kind of look up by the band KMFDM called The Problem.
Okay.
Look that song up, listen to the lyrics, maybe play it.
Okay, I'll check that out. Put it in the text so I can spell it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right. Later.
Shout out, baby, but I might be crazy, but I really do believe you're lying when you say there ain't no use in trying. Oh, you got to get out to get it. I can see that you're never gonna get it. Oh, can't you just give me a minute? Can't you see that I'm trying to get in it? Okay, you left me hanging and you cut me down when the whistle sang you another name, and it was a whole new game now. Oh, now it's time to take your tall tales and leave them at the tracks, 'cause the train don't stop for you and me, and I'm a westbound man. I've got to catch my ride on. It's got to be another destination. Think I need a permanent vacation. Hold up on another revelation in the lobby of a cold concrete steel station. Oh, now maybe I'm a loser. Maybe all my chills amuse you. Oh, but that don't mean a thing now. Everybody's gotta love it somehow. So don't look for me no more. I was gone 10 minutes for you slam the door and I'm going. And my heart's not showing. Oh, no, baby. But when the circus comes back to town, no, I might be fine with the freaking face down. So you can give me Kyle to a painted up pole with a brave new version of the old sideshow. you ever look down. What I know is that I want you around. So don't leave me alone. Don't leave me alone. Don't leave me alone.
You know, folks, sometimes I realize I need longer songs. I mean, I'll get right back in here to broadcast and realize I've got 1 second left on a song. And the cardinal sin in broadcasting is to have dead air. And now I occasionally will use dead air for dramatic effect after I feel like I've made a good point, regardless of how good it actually is. But just once in a while, you're going to catch me doing that. Please let it go, because I'm new to the radio thing. I'm getting better at it. But tonight was a real curveball, because I'm used to using Sam Broadcaster, number one, and I had to completely revert back to the old system tonight in a hurry. Number two, I'm fighting with some serious pain and a bad cold, and my throat feels like I've been rubbing sandpaper in it. So still working that. Now, one thing I want to do is, now the music that I have here, is that Logan's music? If Dave and Kim are listening, I'm going to see if they'll come in and do the chat, because I'm going to try to convert one of those files as we talk here so I can play it later. I can't play a CDA, but I can play an MP3. So as we're talking here about freedom of speech in America, I will be searching my hard drive for CDA and then seeing if I have an available converter. Yeah, well, there's one that's got a it's got a shortcut to it, so let's go ahead and open file. I'm going to make this a priority tonight. Now, if that's just a shortcut, I need to find out what it leads to. Properties. Where's Find Target? There's the CDA. If I double click it, what happens? It tries to open, but doesn't. Well, that's lovely, because I know I've got the whole CD converted. Let me check and see if it's in my drive right now. Computer, DVD. Okay, I think it is. Yes, it is. That's how we're going to do it. Okay, so just to clarify, folks, yes, we're focusing on freedom of speech tonight and how the very premise of it has been thoroughly assaulted by the arrest of the man in Maryland tonight. Thoroughly assaulted, and this is no joke. We thought this was all taken care of, didn't we? We thought freedom of speech was good to go in America. It's not. It's not. It's not at all. So there's going to have to be some fighting. Now, hopefully, we can keep that fighting among the paper forms of fighting, among the legislative forms of fighting, in the academia world, and we don't have to get physical with it. But you know this country like I know it, and people will rise up in any way they have to once they're starting to become ruled. You know it and I know it. Freedom is all we got. That's the only thing that sets us apart from 45 other nations that are vying for power. So it's something to consider. Yeah, that's Logan's music. You can convert it through Audacity. Okay, well I will then. I've got Audacity here, so I'll do that. That's no problem while we're talking. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Dave earlier was talking about, and I believe Kim was as well, what about our forefathers? What about them? If they were to have witnessed this event here tonight with this man in Towson, Maryland, getting arrested for speaking out of order, could you compare that event, let's just go back 250 years, to them standing around debating what to put in the Constitution and what not? So somebody stands up and says, I don't think that ought to be in there. And you say, police, come take him out. That's against everything they stood for. Everything. It was all about giving the people the power over the government. And that means giving the people the power over the authorities. Now, everybody's got to follow the laws. Once you're breaking the laws, the authorities are given power necessarily over you. But until you break those laws, you are to be left alone. That's how it works. That's why you have laws against unreasonable search and seizure. And that's why you have laws that require probable cause. In general, you're not supposed to be harassed. But the cops now know that just arresting you is its own punishment. The cops now know that you probably won't be able to afford good legal help on cases that are going to be close. And they know they got you there. So something's got to be done here. Something's got to be done. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I cannot stand a cop who abuses his authority. Can't stand them. They are my second worst hated group in the world. Worst hated group, hypocrites. And they usually come from the religion end, but they can really come from anywhere. Preaching and insisting on preaching one thing and then doing the same thing they're preaching against. That one gets so far under my skin I can't get it out. But the other one is the cops that abuse power, and not all of them do. Everybody knows that. But I've had some personal experience in my family with police and had some firsthand information on how they behaved, both on and off duty, and was none too impressed by it. And there was even a time I thought about being a cop, but I never would now. Because there's no way I could look at a dirty cop and not report him. And that's heavily frowned upon in most police forces. So, yeah, I'm staying away from that. That's for sure. Where are you, Audacity? Are you hiding on me? There it is. I knew I'd find it. Audacity. Freedom of speech. Let's see what Kim is typing in here as I cue this, one of these songs up. I like track number 4, so I'll probably cue that one up for conversion to MP3, and then I'll have to upload it. T got dumped. Maybe it would... Oh, yeah, T got dumped. You're talking about... I think you're probably talking about the Boston Tea Party, but hold on one moment. File, open... Should I have done open or import? Let's go to computer and go to the audio CD. Yeah, I'm going to have to do import. File, import, audio. Go to computer and go to the music CD. And they're still not letting me. I'll try it anyway. CD track. Audacity cannot open CDs directly. Extract the CD tracks to an audio format that Audacity can import, such as WAV or AIFF. Okay, well, I'll figure it out here while we're talking. I'm reading some more of what Kim's got to say. You guys can also get in on this chat. Just go to where the show is. If you're listening to it, you've already got the link there in front of you. But it's Spreaker.com/user/truthontap. There you'll see a live broadcast. And if you go to that live broadcast, you'll see a little speech bubble icon down in the lower right corner. You can get in on the text chat with Kim and Dave there. You can also call in 910-NO-LYING. And I'll get you on the air. And I'll read your thoughts on the air if you're in the chat room. What I think I'm going to do is just for a moment so I can focus on getting Logan's song over here is I'm going to put on another Bad Ace song because I know you guys love them. You can't fool me. I know you love them. And who doesn't love Bad Ace, to be honest with you? So I'm looking for one that's... They like me to play Matchbox. I think that's one of their favorites. And frankly, it's got all of the elements of a great song. So maybe I should just put that one on. That'll give me about 4.5 minutes to get Logan's song ready. Hopefully I can do it. Can't promise anything, but guarantee you guys that if I can't get Logan's song on tonight, I will get it on my next broadcast, one way or the other. So let's put that Matchbox on there. I'll load it over on deck 1. Matchbox is here. Come on. Come to Pappy. There we go. And get ready, because I have to do a little station ID here just so you know what you're listening to.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
And Matchbox by Bad Ace. Here we go.
I've got an answer to the question that you asked me some years ago. Do you ever think you're gonna find your freedom on a matchbox floor? I'm telling you now, it's been lonely, it's been cold. I've been selling, I've been sold, but they never did break my love. It's been a long, long ride. And it was never so easy to be caught up in the rain with a pocket full of shame. No prescription for the pain, your connection's down again. Sooner or later your eyes go blind. You come back down for a friend to find, but they all left you behind. There ain't no profit for pride on the east side. No, 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 no. And the dogs that leave you for dead on the county line. And you hide all your dreams in a matchbox on the floor. No, and you're praying to God the man don't know your door. Best you'll ever know. So do another one on the floor and beg for more. And did you do your copy such as gracefully? Now you're lowering your flash. And as I bang up the bags, and you walk another line, but you better take your time. Oh, the creeps will sure lead you back to shadows where the thieves will steal your dreams. And the preachers will show you, then pretend they don't know you. And the stranger will stone you and politely condone you. Yeah, but ain't that life? There ain't no profit for pride on the east side. No, 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 no. And the dogs will leave you for dead on the county line. And you hide all your dreams in a matchbox on the floor. Oh no, and you're praying to God to a loaded 44. Now I've got an answer to the question that you asked me some years ago. If I could only get you up again from the matchbox floor.
Matchbox from Bad Ace, bringing it crazy style. You gotta love that song. It just has a little bit of everything in it. It gives little spices of jazz and little hints of soft rock and then some banging hard rock, and you're going, wait, I'm having genre disorientation here, and that's okay. I think that's what they wanted to do. Let's see. Oh, you got MP3 format. Good. Thank you, because I've been downloading software this last 4 minutes, trying to get these things ripped off the CD. Go ahead and send me some, whichever ones he would like played. I'll go ahead and play one tonight. Send the one tonight separate that he wants played tonight, and then the rest in another email. That way I'll know which one he wants played. Send them to whatsthedeal@yahoo.com, and that is WUTZ. I'm going to go ahead and write it in the chat room. Deal@yahoo.com. There we go. Let me make sure I spelled it all right. Yeah. So that'll come to me. I'll download it, and I will certainly load up that track tonight. That's no problem. I might load up a couple. Freedom of speech is the topic tonight, folks, and it's a big deal. And I know this show is going to get a few thousand listens, so I don't want to lead you too far astray. And yet I have to remind you that this event that happened tonight is a critical event in American history. This event that happened tonight may be a pivotal point in where America goes regarding civil liberties. You know, there has been this surge, this quiet surge of authority and police powers since 9/11. It may be wrong for me to falsely attribute that to our willingness to assign extra powers to our police forces after 9/11 because we were scared. Maybe I'm just seeing a correlation there that does not involve causation. But maybe there is a correlation that has causation. Maybe it is that they were given so much power they just don't want to let go of it now. When people get used to something as a group, they don't want to go to a lesser something. It's not cool. It's like giving somebody a raise, let them get used to it for 2 years, say, we couldn't afford that, got to drop you down. Be different if you did it a week after. But no, they're not letting go of that power. And we got to be real careful when a man or a woman or a child in the United States of America can be arrested for speaking. Think about that for a minute. I'm not talking about screaming fire in a theater. I'm talking about just speaking an opinion, whether or not it's outside the rules, some arbitrary man-made rules for a school. You know, it was on point, it was on topic, the crowd wanted to hear it, and they decided that won't do, you're going to jail. That cannot be okay with you folks. And I know the younger kids are going, what, that's not how it always happens? No, it's not. No, not acceptable in America. It's not acceptable. That's what so many people fought and died for, so that the government could not boss us around and control us. You'll learn your American history, I hope. And that's one of the things that we older people and people that are getting older like me have to make sure that torch never stops burning. You know, I mean, that's all we got. That's what makes us special, is freedom. And some of it's an illusion, to be honest with you. We think we have freedom in certain places where we don't. So we really cannot afford to lose any of our real freedoms, not the imagined ones. And we should be working to reclaim some of the imagined ones, to make them real freedoms again. I'll go over here and check my Yahoo mail and see if we got any of Logan's tracks in. And then what I'll do is probably read you a little bit. I had all kinds of websites up tonight about Maryland's laws and a bunch of specifics regarding freedom of speech and some other sources on this story to make sure there's not something we're missing. One of the things I want to caution you about, when I do a show like this, it's generally an emotional response. I already know that. I'm not afraid to admit it. It caught me wrong. And when Kim showed me the link, I knew that I was going to have to come do a show. I got to talk about this. This is unacceptable. This is a call to action. But I also knew that I couldn't be entirely objective if I was going to be emotional. And what I wanted to say about that is that when something breaks, when news breaks, so often is the case that you're not getting the accurate facts in the first few reports. Really, it does take time to get all those details. So the problem this time is we had the video. You know, you can't give us much more details than that. We saw the video, so we know the man shouldn't have gone to jail. So we were able to jump in with some judgments there. Now, if it turns out that some other angle of video shows this guy punching the cop in the groin or something, well, we'll have a different outlook. But until then, we're going to stick with what we've got. I call it a working truth. We always have a working truth based on the evidence we have. All right, I'm checking my email here. I'll just figure out whenever you guys send those songs. Take your time. It's not a rush. Just pick the ones you want. I'll be on for another half hour or so. You know, I'll definitely. Oh, here we go. It went to. I don't know why, but it went to my spam folder. So let me say not spam. Thank you, Yahoo. You know, Big Daddy Dave ain't gonna be no spam. Trying to mess with my head. Okay, I got the song. I'm downloading this one. And I want you guys to go in the chat room and tell me, because I don't remember, how exactly you'd like me to introduce Mr. Logan. I'm going to save this, so that's going to go to downloads. And who knows, you know, maybe this could be a weird little start of his on-air career. Spam malicious? Is that how we're announcing Mr. Logan? Is he Spam Boy Delight, Spaminator, Super Spam? That would be cool. You know, I got this song now downloaded. Let me close this program. Then I've got to upload it to my decks. And you know, maybe this is kind of related, because what would you say a guy who has sitting on his back porch, broadcasting for the whole world to hear if they choose to? That's the epitome of freedom of speech, isn't it? I'm allowed to do that in America. Should I expect the police at my door? I'm about to play a young boy's song. Is that okay? Or should I expect the police at my door? I better not be getting the police at my door for that. That's not acceptable. So all of this kind of relates, if you look at it that way. Uploading my music. Let me see. Just give me 1 second here. So that would have gone to the downloads folder. This is music. I'm going to upload music here. Go to my downloads folder and sort them by date. They're not giving me date. All right. That's just lovely. I'll find it. I'll find it. Because that's how I be doing. Is this? Yeah, there it is. Cross. Okay. I just didn't know the title. That's why it was taking me a while. That's uploading. I'll be able to throw that on one of these decks and play it in a minute. My voice is still not good, folks, but this is an important topic, and it needs to be talked about. I almost feel like we're talking on the radio sort of like the day America won its independence. So it's just talking. It's just, hey, what about the big event? It's V-Day. It's D-Day. We're in. You know, we win. This is a nobody sees it right now. I'll give you an example of how important I think this day is. There was a prominent minister back in roughly 1870. I believe he was in the Northeast. He spotted a UFO flying over the moon's surface, and he reported it. Now, back then, it was pretty heavily believed, especially among the religious, that no such creature existed outside of Earth. Yet, this minister reported it. I believe, personally, and nobody else is going to tell you this that I know of, that was the gate opening to say, people, if you want to report your UFOs, go ahead and do it. We just had a minister do it, and he didn't get persecuted. So go ahead and do it. It wasn't until 1947 when the U.S. government decided to start another campaign against reporting UFO and flying anomalies that we started seeing it ridiculed. The media won't even touch it now. But that's another story. All right, let me close some of this stuff so I can get organized here again. Talking about freedom of speech tonight, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/truthontapshow. We're talking about the United States Constitution, police brutality, necessary and unnecessary force, the man that was arrested for speaking his mind. That's happening all too often lately. It's got to be stopped. It's got to be stopped. It's not allowed to happen. It's against the rules. We need to start putting in place some type of punishment on the police, a meaningful punishment, not a slap on the wrist, not a suspension with pay. Put them in jail for a few weeks if they're going to harass somebody who's not breaking the law and turn their lives upside down under the legal process, regardless of what their likelihood is of being convicted in court. You know? Let's have a penalty in place so they're only arresting people that they do have probable cause on, people that they know have broken a law. So, this is already won. I believe the man's going to win it, and I believe he's probably going to win his countersuit if he decides to file one. Let's go back in the chat room and see what's going on here. Let's see. Here we go. Cross UFO. That's heresy. Yeah, there are UFOs in the Bible. A lot of people don't realize that. And in fact, I think one of the best examples is Ezekiel's wheel, or so they called it, Ezekiel's wheels. Sounded a lot like an anti-gravity device to me, the way it was written. I don't know. Anyway, we're tromping through here tonight. We've been broadcasting for about 88 minutes. I've got 3 hours on my current plan that we can broadcast, and I am a bit fired up about this, so we may stay on still some amount of time. I may get into some of the specifics about why this is wrong, because I tend to hear my audience thinking, and I can hear them thinking, well, Kevin, you say this is wrong, what they did to this man, and the audience may agree or disagree, but they're going, what evidence are you presenting? And I haven't really presented evidence. I'm going to have to go through the amendments to the Constitution, show you how federal law trumps state law on this, and then show you how arbitrary the law is that you can't interrupt a school process. Then I have to define for you what is assault, unwanted touching. You know, unwanted touching is now not it. It's actually the threat of unwanted touching. That's insanity to me. I'm going to touch you. You can call the cops, and I can go to jail because I said, I'm going to touch you. That's true. That's how it is in Maryland. That's a little too much. Yeah. That's a little too much. I don't know. That's my view. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. We will be talking about the Constitution and the amendments therein, the Bill of Rights, because that's one that gets constantly overlooked. And some laws, both some national laws, federal level, and some of the Maryland state laws, to see just how crazy this arrest tonight was and what it means for the rest of America. Let's go back here in the chat room. And now, am I talking to Kim now or Dave? Who is this in the chat room? Let me find out here, just so I don't incorrectly ascribe something to someone. And this song, this song by Logan is called Cross. Okay, me. Kim. Okay, Kim. Because you know the name says David Moxley, so it's throwing me. Okay, so we're talking to Kim, and one of the things she said is that the internet is the last vestige of free speech. If they get control of it, we're doomed. Well, I tend to agree with that. I think that is the sign of the end times for free speech. Once the internet starts to get monitored and controlled and filtered, as it is in certain third world countries that control all their information, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. And that's time probably for a civil war at that point. We got to do something then. Oh, this is epic. The multiple levels that this situation affects is huge. It is. Think of the ripple effects of what happened today. This is an important point in American history. I guarantee you the books are going to show it that way. This arrest today is going to become a legal case that is constantly referred to in future legal arguments. You know how those go, right? You know, Brown versus Board of Education. You know, Roe v. Wade. I'm sure there'll be a Zimmerman versus Martin, or the state versus Zimmerman as a reference. This is going to be a reference case. And I hope that the reference is, as you can see, this officer misbehaved and we had to throw him in jail. I hope that's what the reference becomes. Not, as you can see, the officer harassed him, manhandled him, but he was within his rights. Because if that's the case, then I don't even want this reference to make it into the law books. I can't stop that, though. Your common American only receives filtered news and information edited by propaganda. I agree, and to anybody wondering, if you're getting all your news from one place, Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, it's no good. You really got to spread out your sources. I'll occasionally even go over and get some news from Israel and get some from the Palestine side of things and grab some from Syria and Russia and just look at how filtered and, slanted those are. Because when you look at all that news, you tend to be able to find inconsistencies in the false stuff and find legitimacies in the real stuff. And more often than not, I'm pointed back toward the BBC to get my accurate news. I don't know why. I think that they just do things mostly objectively, maybe a little more boring, maybe a little less sensationalist than other newspapers, but bringing you those facts. And good for them for that. But no organization can be trusted just because they're doing it right now. Who knows when they start getting bought off? Yeah, write this story. Hey, write that story. It can happen. Let me see if I've added this song here. I'm going to go ahead and add Logan's song here. Latest. That should show it up. Add. But this song, though, Kim, just to let you know, it's only 1 minute and 31 seconds long. So do you have any other longer ones you might want to send to me tonight? Think about that. If you've got them, go ahead and email one. And yeah, it's called setting a precedent. It is a legal precedent. That's what this case will become, if the guy does what he should and really takes it seriously. Because this is an abomination of American rights. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Think of what the people, how they reacted. Here they were being annoyed by this guy to a degree because he was speaking out of turn. And when that cop touched him, they all just about screamed. And what were they thinking in their head right then? Am I in America? What did the guy say? Am I in America? It didn't look like America to me at that time, folks. It did not look like America. I didn't recognize that country. I don't know where that was. Were we in Russia at the time? Was it China? I didn't like what I saw at all. I mean, it was like the Taliban. I didn't like that at all. Not at all. Got to be stopped. It's got to turn around. The pendulum has swung way too far to the left, and it's going to come crashing back to the right now. Let's get our freedoms back in order, and let's hold on to them with a white-knuckle grip from this point forward. Because you saw what happened when we started to loosen our grip on it. When we let the internet distract us, when we let 9/11 make us feel less secure, when we became more apathetic for whatever reason between then and now, we started loosening our grip on freedoms. We cannot do that. It's something the forefathers would be choking right now over if they knew that we weren't holding on to these tooth and nail. So anyway, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and throw on Mr. Logan's song. This is a short one. I might play a longer one for you later. We're exercising our freedom of speech here tonight. You're damn right we are. Yeah, I'm taking it to the maximum. Going to play a kid's song. Going to play some other songs. What was his first effort? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play it. Let me go ahead and load it up on the deck here. And just so y'all know, I have a deck 1 and a deck 2. And I haven't told you this before. It's very private to me, but I have 2 decks. My decks are very big, and size does matter. So, you know, my favorite deck, I like to watch my deck a lot. And you know, sometimes my deck scares people when they see it. Sometimes it doesn't perform just right. I love my deck. You know, it just feels good. It's a great deck. And, you know, I guess I don't use it enough. I probably should use it more. But some people just need to keep their deck put away because they get in trouble with it, you know. I'm trying not to get in trouble with my deck. And I'm stealing this, by the way, from the 4 redneck comedians. What do they call that? Blue collar comedy? Yeah, they did that. They did a whole deck bit. Does it hurt when you lay on your deck too long? Yes, it does. Yeah, when you lay on your deck too long, you get really stiff. Ooh, did I just say that? Ooh, did I just say that? Okay, let me remind you who you're listening to here.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
And on that note, here comes Logan Moxley with Cross. Hello? Oh my goodness. I think my microphone has been muted for about 15 minutes. Yeah. Oh well. You know, stuff happens. Gave you some time to reflect on the events of today. Hey, everybody needs meditation. You know, I'm promoting silence sometimes. What's wrong with that? Um, yeah, I had muted my mic because when I played the song, I didn't want my putting the headphone down to interrupt because it'll tick 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 tonk. So anyway, yeah, we're talking again. On that note, considering how much I've been talking, even though you've heard very little of it, I'm probably going to go ahead. Did you send any more songs from Logan tonight, Kim? Or do you want to wait and do that the next show that we do? I'll go check my email just to make sure. And Kim, in the chat, you said ERM, E-R-M. I was hoping I next time say, Kevin, nothing's coming across the speakers. That would have really woken me up. I thought you were just kind of making a point like, so what are you thinking? You know, I don't know. I didn't get it. I didn't make the connection. So I'm looking. Yep, here we go. 5 more. And so we can close out maybe with a couple of these songs. I'm just going to take the first 2. We're going to download Dark and Dream. Save. And yes, I said save. Save. Thank you. Download complete. Dream. Save. My vocal cords are screaming for mercy right now. I did the saltwater gargle thing, which I hate to do, but it was absolutely necessary tonight before this show. Did it twice. And then I used some Biotin mouthwash, which for anybody that's going to broadcast on the radio or do, podcast, whatever, make sure that you look into getting some Biotin mouthwash. For a bottle that's smaller than a standard Listerine bottle, it's actually about $5. But you only use like a tablespoon of the stuff. And it helps to keep your, it's the anti-dry mouthwash. So, it really does help to keep things lubricated, I guess you could say. And there's nothing like a dry mouth when you're trying to talk. It sounds like leather rubbing together, So it's good stuff to invest in, especially singers, anybody else. You really give it a shot. But it is expensive, I'll warn you up front. You can pick it up at Walmart for about $5 for something like, 30 ounces, something like that. I'm going to load up these songs, cue them up, and then retire my voice for the night. I don't think I reached you the way I wanted to reach you on this topic. I don't know why, because David made some excellent points. Kim was making some excellent points in the chat. I came into this really passionate, and I think the technical curveballs I was getting tonight from 9 o'clock, from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, sort of distracted me off my message, and I'd never fully recovered because I was really fired up about this tonight. So in closing, let me remind you, this is a huge friggin' deal. You cannot arrest a person in America for speaking. It can't happen. It must not happen. That cop must be punished, and that man must have his sins absolved, if you will. That can't happen. That can happen. This is a huge deal. This is not something we can overlook and say, okay, what's tomorrow's news? No, this has to stay right on the table. And it's got to be dissected and redissected. We cannot let this go on, folks. We cannot. Let's see. So going into Opera here, I've got to upload those those songs. So we'll have a little bit more time to talk. Upload music, and all right, there's Dark, and then I'm going to upload another. There's Dark uploading, and where's Dream? There's Dream, and I think I can cue them both up. It's freedom. It's freedom. You hear about this all the time, don't you? Freedom isn't free, and don't lose your freedoms. And you're going, well, what freedom do we really have? I can't run naked down the interstate. That's true. That's true. You did lose that freedom because population will strip away freedoms as it increases. Children might see you. I mean, I think that's a fair law. But there are the main freedoms: freedom of speech, freedom of religion. These things must be protected to the maximum, because as soon as authority gets a chance, they're going to start nibbling away at the corners, because your freedoms represent their lack of control. They want to control you. Things are much easier when authorities can control you. Things are unstable when they can't control you. So they're always looking, surreptitiously or otherwise, to nibble away at your freedoms and put in place borders, cages, walls, eating into that freedom, making it just a little smaller at a time. This was a big event. This was a huge event tonight. I hope everybody was paying attention to it. I really, really do. Let's see what Kim's saying here. Disappointed at the lack of listeners. Well, there will be a lot more listeners. I tend to get a lot of listeners in the morning. So some people are, I don't know, maybe they're out doing stuff tonight. They'll listen. You get a lot of listeners now. Patty Coates and Leah Moshe, I'm sure, would love to get in on this convo. Like I said, it's going to be available, and you can share the link. I'll go. I think it actually automatically shares it on my Facebook page, Kim. So if you want to share that after it posts, then you can do that, and then other people can see from your feed, hey, we can go listen to this. Now, they won't be able to take part in live conversation, which is the drawback of listening to it later, but the good thing is they can listen to it any time. They didn't miss the show, so to speak. So, now, do I have these songs uploaded? Let me close this real quick. Add latest. Let me see if they're uploaded. I thought I did. We'll find out. Not seeing it there. No, nope, I gotta upload them. Open. I thought I did this already. Yes, I do have them. So why aren't they showing, please? Alright, well, I'll figure it out, guys. Bear with me for just a second. Add. Latest. Maybe I had to refresh. That's exactly what I had to do. I had to refresh my latest songs because they just got done uploading. So here comes Dream. And then here comes Dark. And then I got to throw those on the deck. I'm relatively new at this. I've been on Spreaker for a couple of weeks. Been doing this radio thing for about a month. And just getting some real listener traffic coming in now. So I'm doing a wild variety of topics. Just a wild variety right now. And I'm actually doing two shows. I'm doing Truth on Tap, focused on truth on various issues, and then Caps on Tap, just for my Capitals people that like to learn about the Washington Capitals from a fan perspective. So you can listen to both of those shows. You can find out about both of them on the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/truthontapshow, just for your records. Throwing on Dark and Then Dream here by Mr. Logan Moxley. He's going to be famous, so let's get him started now. And I'm just, before I do that, I have to remind you with a little station ID of what you've been listening to, so get ready for that.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kiersten.
And for those that didn't know, that was Wes Johnson, the greatest voice in the history of humankind. He is the Capitals arena announcer, has a history with radio up in D.C. But he doesn't make music. And the truth is that Logan Moxley does. And I'm about to prove that right now. You've been listening to Truth on Tap with your host, Kevin Kiersten. Peace out, eh?